Wolf, this is a very important decision. It is very important to recognize that the Congress is going to do its job and is going to work precisely on finding out what happened.
It makes a great campaign slogan, Newt. Vote Republican. 2 more years of gridlock in Benghazi. The debate starts right now.
Tonight on Crossfire, scandal week in the House. Republicans push through a special committee on Benghazi.
This is a serious investigation.
Serious investigation or serious politics?
I do not believe there is any reason for it to continue in this way, but they get to call the shots.
On the left, Howard Dean. On the right, Newt Gingrich. In the Crossfire, Representative Xavier Becerra, a member of the House Democratic leadership, and Representative Aaron Schock, an Illinois Republican. Were there cover-ups? Are Republicans on a witch hunt? Tonight on Crossfire.
Welcome to Crossfire. I'm Howard Dean on the left.
I'm Newt Gingrich on the right. In the Crossfire tonight, 2 members of Congress. Breaking news. Just moments ago, the House approved a special committee to investigate the Benghazi terror attack and the Obama administration's ensuing cover-up. This is a dangerous moment for former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. She's now facing more questions than ever about her failures as Secretary of State. This serious investigation comes on the heels of revelations about how her State Department ignored the rise of terrorists who now have kidnapped hundreds of schoolgirls in Nigeria. Soon, everyone will see how Secretary Clinton not only failed America, she endangered America during those 4 years.
Newt, you've been wrong before, you're wrong again, and tonight we're going to find out exactly why. In the Crossfire tonight, California Representative Xavier Becerra, who's chairman of the House Democratic Caucus, and Republican Representative Aaron Schock of Illinois.
And before we get to you guys, we're going to go first to CNN chief congressional correspondent Dana on Capitol Hill for the latest on the vote. Dana?
Well, Newton, Governor Dean, it just finished, and it passed almost entirely on party lines. And when I say it, of course, I mean this creation of a select committee to look into Benghazi. That is something that was not unexpected, the fact that this would pass. What we still do not know yet is whether Democrats will participate. And I just came from the hallways just off the House floor where it's pretty clear that there is intense negotiations going on behind the scenes between the House Speaker and the Democratic leadership to figure out if there is some kind of accommodation that can be made that will allow Democrats to say that it's okay to participate. And the main thing that they're focused on is whether or not that they can have equity or parity in the way that subpoenas go out to potential witnesses and the interviews of witnesses. And those are the discussions that are going on as we speak.
Thanks a lot, Dana. Congressman, why do you guys keep doing this? The American people are interested in jobs. Is this a programming strategy for Fox, whose average viewer age is 68? And what makes you think this is going to help you win the election?
Well, first of all, I think before elections, the elections are over and we have a job to do, and one of them is oversight. And in addition to being a regular member of Congress, I also serve on the Ways and Means Committee, the Oversight Subcommittee, and Director Schulman of the IRS came before our committee and repeatedly said there was not targeting going on. We now know that's false. Same thing with Benghazi. Repeatedly, we were misled. The American people were fed incorrect information. We now know the administration continued to tell the lie even after they knew the facts were false. And I think the question that really begs, that every American should ask, is why is the administration so unwilling, so unwanting of the facts? I don't believe the president for 1 minute wanted anybody in Benghazi to die. But as the CEO of this country, why wouldn't he want to get to the bottom of who made the decisions, what were the play calls, and what can we do moving forward? Doesn't happen. And the same thing with IRS. I don't think the president directed the IRS to do any of this illegal behavior, but somebody did, and we need to get to the bottom of it.
Let me ask you, Congressman Becerra, you're a very important member of the Democratic leadership. You chair the caucus. Do you think that the Democratic members should participate in the committee?
Newt, quite honestly, I think what Speaker John Boehner thought a month ago, that this was unnecessary, as Republican Speaker John Boehner himself said. We've done this already. I'm not sure if Aaron disagrees with the House Armed Services Republican members' report, or if he disagrees with the Government Oversight Republican Committee members' report, or if he disagrees with the House Foreign Affairs Republican Committee members' report, or if he disagrees with his own House Conference members' report on this Benghazi incident, or if he perhaps disagrees with the Senate Intelligence Committee, or perhaps the other reports that were done, another 2 or 3 more that have been done. We've done this. We've been there. We've done that. What's coming out, Newt, quite honestly, is that Republicans are using this as a fundraising tool. We've already seen how the Republican National Campaign Committee is using this to raise dollars from its members.
So let's give Aaron...
Javier, let me respond to my good friend, Mr. Becerra. More than any of those reports, I think I want to listen to the will of the Congress, the will of the majority of Congress. And by the way, the vote tonight on forming the special committee to Benghazi was bipartisan. The vote to hold Lois Lerner in contempt was bipartisan. And I might mention, by more votes to hold Lois Lerner in contempt and to form the special committee on Benghazi than there were votes to pass Obamacare. So
Aaron,
this is something that is bipartisan. Members on your side of the aisle agree with members on our side of the aisle that the American people deserve the answers to these questions.
Okay, so what I want to know, Congressman, isn't this select committee clearly a vote of no confidence in Darrell Issa, who has been investigating this for months and got absolutely nothing?
No, this is a consolidation of 5 committees who've been looking into this matter into one. The administration should welcome this. They should cooperate, and it makes things more efficient.
But the 5 committees got absolutely nothing done. What makes you think the 6th?
That's because the administration's been stonewalling them, and they've been uncooperative, as they have with the Ways and Means Committee on the IRS investigation.
Let me come back again, if I might, Javier. I'm a little confused. When the committee was formed in the Reagan years to investigate Iran-Contra by the Democrats, Dick Cheney was actually the ranking Republican, and the Republicans all served. When the committees were formed during Watergate by the Democrats, Republicans served on the committees. I mean, historically, when the Congress engages in an investigation, the minority party, whichever one it happens to be at that time, almost has a absolute moral obligation to participate. Now, how will you go home and justify not participating once the House has actually voted, and the House as a body, in a bipartisan vote, as Aaron Schock pointed out, has voted to create this committee?
And, Newt, I think you're absolutely right. We have a moral obligation to do this in the right way. And so therefore, we're asking Republicans to make sure this is a fair and balanced and nonpartisan affair. And it so far looks like it's not going to be any of those things. It's unlimited in the amount of money that can be spent. It's indeterminate how long it will last. The scope of it is undetermined. And it's unclear what kind of authority will be provided to the other side, the Democrats, so that we can make sure it's done bipartisanly.
So as a senior Democrat, are you going to advise Speaker Pelosi to find a way to join or to find a way to not join this investigative committee?
I would like to make sure that if the Speaker Boehner, believes that we have to have an 8th investigation, that he's going to make sure it's impartial and it's done in a balanced way. So far, that's the case, and we see that it's being done for campaign purposes.
You and I both, I used to serve in the House, as you'll remember. We've both been down this road. Yes. In the end, yes or no, do you have an obligation morally to participate in a committee once it's been created?
We have to fulfill our oversight obligations if it's real. I'm not sure this is real. So far, it looks like it's a campaign stunt to raise money for the Republican National Campaign Committee. If Aaron today will say on national TV, he will call his committee, his Republican National Committee, to stop raising money off of this Benghazi investigation, then maybe we can have some sense of bipartisanship. But right now, they're already raising money off of a committee that hasn't even had its first hearing.
Okay, let's give Aaron a chance.
Look,
and then we're going
to suggest that Xavier Becerra or Aaron Schock controls the fundraising apparatus of either our parties is a bit naive.
Shame on you, Aaron.
And
you know you can do something.
Both parties raise money off of real substantive issues that we debate, whether it be investigating Benghazi, whether it be the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, depending on how you want to raise money on it. The Democratic Party raised money off of George W. Bush and the Iraq War. They've raised money off of environmental issues, off of Keystone Pipeline. You guys have sent out all kinds of fundraising mail on environmental concerns with Keystone. So, look, both sides political apparatuses do what they do to raise money, and they drive whatever issue, the hot topic issue
Aaron,
of the day.
you know what
that
Trey
should not
Gowdy
determine our decision on whether or not we do the real work.
I'm actually going to take the moderator's privilege here and say there would be those who would disagree with the idea of raising money off poor dead Americans. But in a minute,
but Howard,
if
I could just get this
House Republicans ought to be doing right now. They are things that would actually help the American people instead of wasting their time and money. And here is a Crossfire quiz.